Tiny House Prepper.
Live simple, live free.
Hi everybody, this is Bill with Tiny House Prepper. Today I want to talk to you about extending the shelf life of your Thrive Life freeze-dried food. I want to talk mostly about after you open the can, but there is a little bit to say about storing it before you open the can. Most of the products have a 25-year shelf life. Some of them are a little different. For instance, the sauce mixes in the pantry can, I believe, have a 10-year shelf life. There's a couple of the smaller express meals in packets that only have a 5-year or 7-year shelf life, but for the most part it's 25. But it'll say on the package how long each one can be stored. It also says on the product page for the website, on the website for each product, how long you can store it. Now that storage time is listed as in optimal conditions. You can store it in where it gets cold. You don't need to worry about it. You can keep it in a garage or a shed that's unheated. It can freeze. It can go way below zero, and it's not affected. But it does not do well in heat, extended periods of heat, like above 90 degrees for a long period of time. So you want to try to keep it cool if you can. Now, it's not going to go bad in heat like that. It'll still be edible. It's just that the extended period of high heat can tend to make the nutritional value degrade and the flavor degrade. Now you'll still be able to eat it 20 years from now, but it might not taste as excellent as it does right now if you've stored it in the high heat. So if there's any way that you can keep it cool, either keep it air conditioned or in a basement where it might be cooler, something like that, that would be really good. Now, after you open the can, most things have a 1-year shelf life after you open it. Now, there are two things that make food go bad. One is oxygen, and the other is moisture. That's why when you open a can, this is the Fuji apples, you will find an oxygen absorber packet inside. They pack one inside of every can before they seal it. And that's basically to keep the oxygen, to keep it oxygen free before you open the can. Quite honestly, after you open it, I don't know whether this is effective or not. I still keep it in there. It's not going to hurt, but I don't know how effective it is after you open the can. But the other thing, and this is the main problem, is the moisture. Now if you live in Arizona, it's not going to be a problem. But if you live in the east or if you live in the south and you live in a high humid area, once you open the can, the food can start to just absorb the moisture from the ambient moisture from the air around it. The Fuji apples, like I said, I love these. I have a hard time not eating them when they're really good. When you open these up, they're really crisp. But we had a can over the winter that stayed that way, but then once it got into the summer, they started to get kind of spongy a little bit, and that was because it was absorbing some of the moisture from the humidity. So what do you do about that? Well, Thrive has moisture packets on their website that you can buy. Looks like this, and I don't know if you can see that, but there are little orange balls all through there, and you can continue to use these until all those orange balls turn green. And then when that happens, that means it's fully absorbed the amount of moisture that it can hold. So you throw it away and you get another one. They come in a bag like this, 10 in a pack. It's got a Ziploc top. You want to always keep it sealed. You open it up, take one out, and then squeeze out all the air and seal it to try to keep these as fresh as possible until you actually use them. So if you put one in every can, if you live in a high humidity area, that'll help keep the moisture out of the can. It'll help keep the food fresher longer. I don't know that it'll extend it beyond the 1 year that it says on the can, but if you don't use it and you live in a high humid area, after 6 months or 8 months or something like that, the stuff can start to get soggy or start to kind of stick together a little bit. We had the tomato powder that Elizabeth really loves, and after a while it turned into kind of like one solid brick. Now it was soft, and it was kind of like sandstone. You could scrape stuff off, you could break it up, and we continued to use it. We just chopped it up, broke it up, and then it turned back into powder again. It wasn't real hard, but it did stick together. That's because it was absorbing moisture. We didn't know about these moisture packets at the time. Now we do. So now, in fact, I've only just recently found out about them, so we're starting to put them in everything. Because we haven't used them long, I don't know how long they will last, but that would depend a lot on how humid your area is, I think. So if you're concerned about keeping them fresh, get the moisture packets, and that would really help. They are on the website. Go to shop and then look under accessories, and you'll see the moisture absorber packets. Now, another thing that you can do, these plastic lids snap on fairly tight, but I don't know if they're 100% airtight. Once you take the metal lid out of the top, up there, I don't know if these are 100% airtight. So if you want for another layer of protection, you can get like 1 gallon freezer bags with a Ziploc top and line the can with that and put the food back in there, and then you can zip that shut with the moisture packet inside, and then put the can lid on top, and then you have triple protection, because you got the can lid, you got the freezer bag inside with a Ziploc top, and you have the moisture absorber packet. And that would be your best bet to make sure that things stay as fresh as they can, as long as they can. Now there's one other thing that I wanted to mention as far as shelf life, and this surprised me when I first discovered it. The ham and the turkey are just like the other meats. They have a 25-year shelf life unopened, but once you open the cans of ham and turkey, they have a shelf life of 2 weeks. I saw that, I thought it was a mistake. I thought that can't be right, and so I actually called Thrive customer service and asked them about it, and I was told that yes, indeed, it has something to do with the type of fat that they have in the meat, that after 2 weeks it starts to go rancid. You can't use it. So now all the other meats, all of the beef, all the chicken, the sausage, has that 1 year shelf life after you open the can, so it's not a problem. It's only the turkey and the beef, and the ham, the turkey and the ham, that have a 2 week shelf life. So what I suggest is that you don't buy that in number 10 cans. If you want to use that you buy just pantry cans. That way, once you open a can, especially in the end of the world, once you open a can, you're going to eat ham twice a week or 3 times a week or whatever until it's used up, so so you can use it up before it goes bad. For now, if you have a freezer, I suggest once you open it, put it in the freezer, and that should help to preserve it. So I just wanted to make sure I brought that to your attention about the ham and the turkey having only a 2 week shelf life. I wouldn't want you to get any surprises. So I hope that helps with keeping your food fresh as long as possible, and I hope you're enjoying your Thrive. I know I'm getting a lot of comments of people who are really enjoying it a lot. So hope that helps, and thanks for watching, and as always, live simple, live free. Thanks. Bye. Okay folks, I put this video up a couple weeks ago, and within 24 hours I had at least a dozen comments, if not more, of people who were saying that they were going to go out and buy a vacuum sealer unit of some type, so that every time they use their Thrive food they could vacuum seal it and make sure that it's going to stay fresh. I even detected a note of panic in the comments of some people, kind of like a feeling like, if I don't do this, all my Thrive food is going to go bad within a month. I'll be real blunt. That's kind of an overreaction to what I was saying. I think that you may be misunderstood a little bit. That's just not necessary. A vacuum sealer is just not necessary. Nowhere in Thrive's literature or website or in their training material do they even mention a vacuum sealer, let alone recommending it. Now, if you have one already and you want to use it, by all means, feel free, go right ahead and do that. It definitely would keep the food nice and fresh. But it's really not necessary to go out and buy one if you don't already have one.
For most of you, or for many of you, this isn't even going to be an issue, because you'll find once you get into starting to use Thrive, you'll find that the can won't last a year anyway because you use it up. Most of our cans last us about 3 or maybe 4 months at the most. Some of them we go through, every 6 weeks to 2 months we'll have to get a new can. Also, it seems that it really only affects mostly types of food that are like succulent type things, like fruits. The fruits seem to be the most affected by it. A lot of the other ones, you can't, after 9 months or 10 or 11 months, it's still as crisp as you just opened it. So all I was saying was to just be aware that it is a potential problem if you live in a high humidity area, and even then probably only in the summer. Just kind of keep an eye on your food, and if you have food, cans that are starting to get a little older because you haven't used them in a few months, just keep an eye on it. And I just wanted you to be aware of the moisture absorber pack that Thrive has. That is their recommendation, their only recommendation of how to extend maximize the shelf life after you open the can. So just keep an eye on it, and you'll do fine, and really don't worry about it. And even if they do start to get a little bit soft or spongy because they've absorbed a little bit of water, it's not going to spoil. You can still eat them, especially if you might not want to eat them dry. If you like fruit, they're not crispy anymore, but you can certainly still rehydrate them and use them in cooking and all of that kind of stuff without any problem. So just keep trucking on and enjoy your Thrive food, and thanks for listening. Bye.